My name is Libby Snoke. I am a vet assistant at our local Bend Equine Medical Center, which handles all of emergency cases for a majority of Central Oregon at this point in time. Today I would like to cover colic, which is our #1 emergency that comes in, and what's important about it, how to prevent it, and what treatments are for it. Like I said, one of the main things of why colic matters is almost every single experienced horse person will come in contact with this emergency at one point in their life. The main thing to know about colic is that it's okay, it's going to happen at some point. But the main part is being able to see these signs, because this emergency can go from a treatable in-house emergency to all of a sudden very quickly having to go into for a large surgery. So let's talk a little bit about what is happening and why this is happening in the horse. One of the main things to remember is that a horse has a much larger body than us. Brought another little visual aid to help everybody kind of understand this more. But for starters, the small intestines of a horse are 70 feet long. That's 70 feet of space for sand or gas or an impaction or strangulation to occur within the horse's body. Additionally, their stomach is 18 liters and they have 12 feet of colon. This is a lot of space for it to go in. Now, typically most of our impactions happen within the intestines or the colon. Gas colics are typically in the intestines and cause the intestines to rise, and they can get hooked within other organs such as like the spleen. In the colon, what we typically see more so is the fact that it is more so of a U-shaped. We can get fecal matter built up within there and or sand built up in there, and that requires pretty severe surgical treatment. Now, like I was saying, one of the big things that you can do to help with this situation is be able to be ahead of the warning signs that you are getting. So typically a horse in the beginning will give subtle signs, which can be not eating, not drinking, a slightly elevated respiratory rate, or a slightly elevated heart rate. This can grow to quite a bit more and heavier severity. I would say this is a spectrum throughout everything of what can happen. But one of the other things that does occur is they can be kicking with their hind leg up towards their flank of where they're uncomfortable. They're telling you exactly where it's wrong. They will also shake out their head, but they won't move their whole body. Those are more of the medium severity of signs, and then some of our super severe signs are your horse is rolling, thrashing, all kinds of uncomfortability that you can imagine. Essentially, pretend you have the worst stomach ache of your life and you are unable to throw up or get any of this out of you. Now, for treatments, this does range from quite a few different things, but we typically start with doing a lavage, which is where we take a tube, such as this one. We put it up through the horse's nostril, into their esophagus, and into their gut. Then we pump water in with these buckets and hope that that can go ahead to break apart whatever impaction that they have going on deeper. You create a siphon within the horse, and this helps move and stress it out. Additionally, we use things such as Epsom salt and electrolytes to help give the horse more fluid and more chance of a solid recovery throughout this process. Now, if this does not work, we can connect them up to IV fluids, which would be coming down these stalks right here, into the horse through their jugular vein and pushing as much fluid as we can to them, hoping that this hydrates and gets things moving from the inside out. Now, if this does not work, then typically we move into doing an exploratory surgery and a full-on surgery. With that, this can range from a bunch of different levels of it, but most commonly we place the horse on their back, we cut them open, we remove the organ which has the impaction, strangulation, or anything like that, and see if we can take out whatever is the main cause here. Now, like I was saying, the barn having a proper response to this is essential. You want to make sure that you have a truck and trailer hooked up almost at all times so you can load your horse, get him to the hospital. And or you want to have a very solid contact with your vet to know that they are going to be able to come and get to you. And then last but not least, you want your staff to be trained on these signs. That way, if anyone sees anything slightly off-putting, they can contact the owner and or the barn manager right away. Early prevention for this, it's hard to say because again, everybody will run into this at some point, maybe not with every horse, but hydration, proper supplements, keeping food consistent, making sure there's no clumps and that food is easy to break down. Here at Bend Equine, one of our favorite things to do is soak all of their grain. That way there's no chance of any of those more solid pieces getting stuck. So in conclusion, the main thing to remember is that the horse's body is huge and there's so much room for things to go wrong here. You, as a horse owner, a horse lover, a barn manager, whatever role that you have around horses can do is to be able to spot and help with these situations and get them moving through a vet in a healthy situation. That way, these horses can recover, they can go back to their life, and you can take quite a bit of peace off your mind. So thank you so much for listening to me today. I hope if you ever have an emergency, you come to me. Thank you. Bye.